Welcome back to the coverage of the Italian Open in Rome. We are now in round 6 and we have been witnessing some amazing matches down the line. But now, yet again, our duelists are trying to stay undefeated and trying to claim the title of Open Champion. And for the first year. So we have a really good match ahead of us. Again, a lot of decks. Again, a lot of diversity among the top tables. So walk us through what we are going to see for this round.
Yeah, for this round we're gonna witnessing Kashtira, which we haven't seen so far this week, and pure Kashtira, you know, as in the back all days. And on the other side, Tenpai. It's gonna be a very interesting matchup because, you know, like two different strategies.
Absolutely.
You know, Tenpai, we've seen it before with Antonio, how explosive the deck is, and on the other hand we have Kashtira, you know, like the gold old strategy, you know, with either the Dracosac or the Shangri-La. I mean, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, obviously our Ice Heart is not there because otherwise the matchup would be quite different. We know that Tenpai do rely a bit on the graveyard. And that is why Dimension Shifter could be a huge factor, as it is mained by our Kashtira player. On the other hand, it's a somewhat similar list we can expect, unless they know what they are playing against, that the Tenpai player will choose to go second and then try to OTK. But it will be interesting to see, because, you know, Kashtira is a very unique deck in that regard. And even if it sets up a Shangri-La, that may be not that easy to destroy, you know? So it will be an interesting match and for sure one for the day to witness as our duelists are now ready. Let's go to the table for game. And here they are. As mentioned, we can expect Khang to maybe start things off here. Let's see if that is the case. I see a lot of spells in the end for his opponent.
I think it's triple prosperity.
And here is the Shifter, a huge way to start things off here for Kashtira. Wow, this can potentially shut down, and Shifter plus Field Spell, Pressure Planet. This feels amazing. Wow.
Yeah, impressive opening.
And it might be, you might be right, it might be a triple prosperity. Wow. That's a shock. But yeah, this opening is so strong. The deck, as we've seen in the previous round, Tenpai usually can't side Shifter, but the idea is the opposite. The idea is when my opponent forces me to go first, in some matchup I can just drop Shifter, pass, and then OTK. But while the opposite situation happens, Tenpai heavily relies on the graveyard to do some OTK combos. And this is a big deal. As you can see here, Birth is another huge card. As we have seen back in round 1, even if you manage to break the field, sometimes a Kashtira Birth is able to destroy and disrupt the graveyard. And here we go, another pot card, this time with Pot of Desires. What an opening.
Yeah, this is impressive. And yeah, we will soon find out what Khang is up to next. And on the other hand, for Molin, not promising start, honestly. So it's
You will be able to pretty much just watch what happens. I think he has drawn, as you mentioned, 4 spells and just one lonely Tenpai monster, which is the Chundra. Unfortunate opening, and what can you do? As mentioned, this is the usual Kashtira stuff we were used to seeing a while back. Still works, and here you see a nice synergy. Obviously, since the Shifter is there, we will get the Teotis banished, and then the Birth will be added back. So, well played by Khang. And this is exactly what's going on right here. Tough one. Couple of face downs. And play is back to the opponent who top decks yet another spell, and that is the cross out designator. Wow, 5 spells and a Chundra. Is there any way to fight back here? In the standby phase, Shangri-La is gonna special summon the unicorn back. It's gonna be a tough one. I think triple prosperity, as you mentioned, is in the end. We are gonna start things off with 1. This is not exactly ideal as well, because Shangri-La will be able to, lock a zone. But what can we do? We are looking for cards like Lightning Storm. Although this was very well played by Khang, who summoned all of his monsters in defense position. Let's see what these cards look like. Oh, Vader. Oh, wow. Wow. 3 completely useless cards at the moment, which due to Shifter cannot even be activated at all.
And this might be it, honestly.
It's tough. I don't know the rest. If it's really double prosperity and Chundra, yeah, we might have a very quick game 1. Gonna take... okay, just... yeah, I mean... I guess the Ogre might be a little better, but it's still kind of tough.
You can tell the disappointment, but...
yeah, he's forced to take the Ogre, I think. But, yeah, I mean, Ogre is not gonna do much in this particular spot. It all comes down to whether he has something else. I think it is triple prosperity.
Triple prosperity.
Wow. Triple prosperity. Shundra cross out. What is the last spell? And yeah, as mentioned, Shangri-La can lock one of the zones. Now we see the summon of the Chundra. But it's hardly enough to just fight back here. I think he enters battle phase and will try to attack to just use the Chundra.
This is a tough boss.
Yeah. If there is something like an impermanence, or I mean, it probably not even needed, but that just instantly seals the game. And yeah, his opponent is gonna have a read. And might use an impermanence. Yeah, it is an impermanence. This could be it. I think Droplet is in the end, but cross out obviously will be chained to negate the impermanence. At least trying to stay in this game. Is there a response? No. So cross out is gonna resolve, negating this impermanence. And now we are gonna continue this battle phase.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying, honestly, with not a promising hand. Let's see what the last set is, but...
He's gonna resolve, so it's gonna take a little bit of damage, and then gonna special summon the Hydra, which will be able to add Kaiman or summoning. Seems like it will be Kaiman. But no, he is debating between the 2 options. It seemed like he wanted to go for Kaiman, but now he's changed his mind and he goes for summoning. Depending on Khang, we could also see a synchro summon here, for example. Let's see, even Black Rose, but it doesn't deal with the Shangri-La. That's the issue. And yeah, that's what we're gonna go for. No response, and we are gonna go for a synchro level 7. It could be the Black Rose Dragon, and it is. Black Rose hits the field, trying to blow everything up. Obviously, the Shangri-La is not going, but yeah, the rest is. So, well played by Molin. Federico manages to clear most of the threats, and the Cosmic was the last face down. Okay, main phase Shu, we are able to use the nearly searched summoning.
Yeah, I mean, he managed to navigate through this.
Yeah, still quite well. The issue is the end is still so weak, because you have 2 prosperity, the Ghost Ogre, and
one last card, right?
I think this might be it, because now we will discard. We're probably gonna discard a prosperity, and yeah, we just add some follow-up, and yeah, we discard one of the useless prosperities. But that Shangri-La is still so strong. During the standby phase, you can get something back. We know Birth is in the end, so this might just be over next turn. And this is exactly the last play from Federico. During the standby phase, Khang is gonna use but the droplet, the last known card, which could have not been used due to Shifter, is now live. But as mentioned, Birth is there. We see a normal summon of Unicorn, and then we can use the effect to deal a lot of damage here. And only one card is left unknown, I guess. But no, we discarded the third copy of Prosperity, so now I think he has full knowledge. I think he only has Ghost Ogre and Chundra. Yeah. So he knows everything. And he will be able to pop the Birth. But that's still not that big of a deal. He should go to grave, yeah. Yeah, we can make a Zeus. We can do so much still. We're gonna look at the extra deck once again. Very relevant now that our Isart is gone. The extra decks have gone back to a lot of different one-offs, and this can deal a lot of different things. Trident is the chosen option, and then we are gonna go to a Zeus. But this game is still quite open, actually. Well played by Federico, who managed to, keep the pressure off. And now the summoning is quite threatening. And there is some consideration for just, going for the play. Do you think the Zeus in defense was correct? Because this might actually come back to hurt Khang.
Yeah, I mean, you could have considered honestly about the position, right? Because
yeah, I mean, you can wait, I guess, but what can happen is that if you eventually use Zeus now, I think it is wrong. I mean, it doesn't change too much, but still, yeah, I guess might not be too relevant.
Yeah, I think you should wait because.
No, now I think you are forced
yeah.
to wait because you know the Shundra. Okay, he goes for Ash, and the last card is basically the make it or break it. Because the Chundra alone is not enough. What is the top deck for Federico? Can he pull this off? Let's see. Decisive moment. He looks at his extra deck. He must have something in his mind. It's just gonna be the Chundra attacking the Zeus. But yeah, essentially the idea is that if you summon it to defense, then they have the option to go Chundra into... is it Veiler? Oof, yeah. Veiler is not great. Veiler is not great indeed. But yeah, as I was saying, essentially the Chundra can get you the special summon of Pydra, so you get an additional search. While if you summon it in attack, it's gonna get crashed, and then they are forced to go into the Fadra special summon it back. So it's actually quite relevant in this spot.
Yeah, it just passed. Yeah.
Yeah. And wow. Okay, so as you can see here, a lot back for his opponent. And now the Fenrir just seals the game completely. There is the Veiler. And I think you're forced to use it. But yeah. Now there are nothing to be afraid of for Khang, who is gonna use the Unicorn. It seems to just banish a card off the extra deck, but I mean, this is pretty much irrelevant at this point. The game should be over. Gets rid of a copy of Transcendent, and... Gonna have a read. You can do so much here. For example, you can go Dark Armed if you don't feel like, but I mean, he's only standing at 55, yeah. So... again, it's not that much. Depends on the last card in hand, but you can also go for game easily here.
Yeah, just making some calculation and just make sure that...
Yeah, it's just making sure that he doesn't forget about any secret effects, I guess. He doesn't seem too comfortable with the Tenpai deck. And it seems like he has another monster that he can summon. Yeah, he's doing just calculation. What is the last card? Also, taking his time here. And it's Book of Moon. And he doesn't switch the Zeus. Oh, interesting. He doesn't switch the Zeus to attack, but that would have straight up been game. So he gives his opponent another turn. Wow, let's hope that will not cost him the match, because wow, what a turnaround.
You do what? The Dracossack here?
I mean, hopefully, yeah, either the Dragosaki, the Dark Armed, you have a lot of really strong options. But yeah, a bit of nerves maybe getting into Khang. Playing on stream is never easy, but as you can see here, gets rid one last draw for Federico, and he picks up his cards. It is Kashtira winning the first game. What a match, what a dominating performance once again by Kashtira cards in these events. Maybe they are the way to go today.
No, I mean, they're making a big difference, right? And I mean, they're causing a lot of players huge problems. And yeah, I mean, it was a very nice show from Khang, and the deck is very solid, not easy to play against. And we have to say that Francesco, on the other hand, I think he played very well. No, he started things off with 3 prosperity, which was not helping me out. And yeah, in the end, he managed to come back, but still, it was not enough. And here, yeah, I mean, the deck goes second, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, the deck is now in a weird spot, because essentially it just lost going second. Obviously, you need to take into consideration how did you lose. You opened triple prosperity, you didn't see any end-trap. It's understandable. I think the deck still manages to perform better going second, and also you were downshifter. So I think the option is there. I like some of the options in this deck. He could side into Cosmic Cyclones, but the main deck looks really stable. On the other hand, his opponent is... I mean, his side deck is quite impressive. If he has the read that is gonna go first, maybe he can side Daruma Cannons and Cosmic. He has Solemn Judgment, but Solemn Judgment is a very interesting card against Tenpai. It is obviously really good going first, but then, I mean... We've mentioned that they cannot TK through prosperity. Imagine the opposite. So when you're 4,000, they can probably do it, yeah, like 5 times in a turn. So you need to be careful when you use it, but it's still a very powerful card. Obviously, something that's important to mention, as you can see, these duelists are not undefeated. They are on a 4-1 score, which means that this is kind of still like a bubble match for winning the event. They can only win the event or try to win the event by going X1 at worst. So they cannot really afford to lose to get a spot into the top 8. The duelists, though, are ready, so let's find out who will advance in round 7. Okay, so we skip to the beginning and we do as the previous game. No shifter this time around, at least for now. And it is the Pressure Planet. I see an Ogre, but I think once again, that's the only response from Federico. And yeah, we're gonna see a normal summon, maybe a Fenrir. Let's see if he has something else. He does. So great start here. I mean, the deck it is somewhat solid, but yeah, it seems like he is drawing significantly well. This Ogre can potentially destroy the Birth when it tries to special summon. But let's see what Khang decides to go for. Is it just the Shangri-La? No, it's the Dragossack.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
So this is another of the lines which can get you to eat soul. Usually this is what you do with Kashtira when you go for this line. And let's see if this will be the case for the event. And yeah, he gets the tokens. Once you get to the tokens, as mentioned, you can summon a couple of Link Spiders. And this might be it. Yeah. And yeah, this is exactly the line that we were mentioning. You go for the Eat Soul, you guarantee some additional draws. You try to get into, your end traps, your side deck cards. But we are gonna see a Ghost Ogre being activated, which is an interesting choice, because as you can see here, it could have been used to prevent the birth, and I think there was some room there for consideration. Yeah, and as you can see here, maybe it would have been much better. But interesting, the recursion plan. There is a good line as well here, because he searched for the Scarecrow Kashtira, so he can banish the Theosis and get back whatever he's gonna banish now with the Rise Art. So a lot of advantage still available to Khang. And it seems like he wants some follow-up for next turn.
I mean, I think it is a good opening from Kang, right? Because
yeah, it's pretty solid. I think he needs to understand whether he wants to play around Nibiru, because that could be so scary here. Well, I don't think he is willing to go for it. Let's see if he goes for the Scarecrow. I think, yeah, it's worth waiting. I agree with him. And it seems like he's done. Decent opening again, very grindy. During the standby phase, we could see a Fenrir, and the top deck is terraforming from Federico.
that's one. Yeah.
And a lot of spells, which is actually quite a good news. I do see Prosperity, and I see a Lightning Storm. So
Okay.
that's a great way to start things off, to get rid of all the spell and traps. And I think that's what we are starting with. And yeah, Storm coming down. Spell and traps are cold. Is there a Solemn Judgment? I don't think it will be worth even activating it here if there was, but let's see. I mean, Kang is considering it.
Yeah.
So maybe it is Solemn, no?
He may have it.
It is Solemn Judgment, and he goes for
Yeah.
it. Very bold move, because the birth could have been recycled. So this is essentially protecting just the pop from the pressure planet. Let's see if this decision will actually be punished by his opponent. Four cards. There is a terraforming. I think he also knows everything in the end.
Yeah.
No, maybe one, only one. Yeah, I think there is only one unknown card. But yeah, terraforming is a great way to start things off. And his opponent was thinking, but no Ash yet, at least. And this makes things quite scary for Kang potentially, because again, it kind of forces the Fenrir to eventually target the summoning, because everything else would be unaffected during the main phase. But yeah, the pressure is for sure on Federico to try a way to fight back and win this game. And once again, the Prosperity coming down.
Yeah, I mean, here is not easy, but he will give it a try, honestly, if he finds his way to... not easy to deal with the Shangri-La and the Fenrir as well. Looks like the Prosperity is going through and revealing 6, so...
I think... let's take a look. He went for a Prosperity, revealing only 3. Oh, in the first game. Wow. Again, kind of a whiff. He did have those Nibirus. They would have been great. But I think Chundra might be the only card that is available. And I'm pretty sure he was holding already a copy of the card.
Yeah.
These Prosperities are not looking too great for Federico. But let's see what he wants to go for.
And not promising at all, honestly. Yeah, I mean, maybe he was looking for, I don't know, the quick spell or a talent, something like that, no?
And he's considering just Ash. Wow. Yeah, you can see him just like end signing. Doesn't really matter what he picks. And he gets eventually a Veiler. Okay. Hardly gonna have a big impact, at least in this turn, but let's see. The field spell is amazing, but he needs to be careful about the birth. Sneaky banishing effect. If he, for example, goes for a search and then discards one of his Tenpai monsters. And yeah, Federico is having a little bit of a think here. He knows that pressure is on him to even the scores. And I know, as mentioned already, if he loses this game, chances to make it to the top 8 are almost over. So
Yeah, it's taking some time to consider it, and
he sets
okay.
the field spell, interesting. And then goes for the Tundra. Okay. Most of the end is then known, and I think he just entered battle phase with the face down field spell, preventing the Fenrir from targeting it, but still threatening to, just pop it. As you can see here, Khang is just gonna, make a little bit more of a defense. But there is no other response yet, and this means that just like in the previous game, he can go for a huge advantage. Let's see if his opponent will be able to stop him, or if finally we are gonna have a comeback from Federico and his Tenpai deck. Only 4,000 life points due to that solemn judgment. Does he find an opening? Goes for the synchro summon effect. And chains the Kamen. Is there a response in the end from Khang? No. So it gets to resolve.
I think he may be trying to.
Yeah, he's trying to, again, get into this duel. He can go for a similar line as the previous duel with the Black Rose, but right here he has a lot of options. Essentially, the Fenrir is the only line of defense. And as you can see here, he goes into a level 7 synchro. Is it gonna be the Bident? It is the Bident. But now in a new chain, what can happen is that he goes for the Bident, but we can also go for Ferrier. So this will be a little bit complicated to maneuver. As you can see, the Bident is gonna activate and target a Fire Dragon to Reborn. And then a second one will be summoned by the Padra. Is his opponent gonna do anything about this? And as you can see, this is the crucial moment. Birth once again sneaking in, and players maybe not too familiar anymore with the Kashtira plan, because this shuts down everything. The Kashtira Birth is so strong at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think the card alone does so much, right? And I think it was maybe the first match or the second one.
And this is a crazy line, because as you can see now, we get to use both Shangri-La, Fenrir, and Pressure Planet, and this might be over.
Yeah.
Because if we chain and go for a Synchro Summon here, I'm not sure that's quite enough, because in the new chain, then we can use the Pressure Planet to destroy whatever is summoned. And this is starting to get a little rough for Federico. As you can see, Khang pretty confident. And there are very few options. I think Federico is forced to chain and go into the Transcendent. Yeah, once again, Kashtira Birth, such an MVP of these matchups. Only a couple options left for Federico.
It's taking some time to think about it.
Yeah.
But
he has realized the limits of his play, chaining and going for one last push with a level 10 synchro. I think he goes for the Transcendent. His opponent is gonna have a read. The great thing about the Transcendent is now his opponent cannot activate cards of effect during the battle phase, and this is a big deal. And maybe the only hope is the Solemn Judgment now. Because the problem is it switches everything to attack position. But can he get to the third attack? That's my main concern. And
No.
yeah, he cannot. That's the issue. Unfortunately, so close yet so far. Federico couldn't quite find the winning line and gives up 2-0 to Kashtira. Congratulations to Khang. Let's go back to us. Again, a very close match, but in the end, those Kashtira cards coming in clutch. We saw them in the Snake Eye version, we saw them in other decks, but now we see the full package in just a pure Kashtira deck. 5-1, really solid score.
No, I mean, the deck is still very solid, and I mean, like, it's consistent. He has a lot of plays, and I mean, like in this game 1, for example, we witnessed Tenpai opening up with 3 Prosperity. So
yeah,
I mean,
that's...
they were not helping him out, and I mean, in game 2, I mean, like, it seems as if there was something that could have been done, but I mean, in the end, it was well played by Khang, because, you know, he activated the Judgment on the Lightning Storm, preventing, you know, destruction of Birth, and then in the end, that Birth won him the game. Right?
Yeah. Again, it's the case, just like we have seen a couple of times this weekend already, this Birth putting in so much work, and pretty much, yeah, a sneaky line, I guess. Mainly used for its summoning abilities, but that effect is quite relevant, and it comes up often. So this is exactly what has happened. Tenpai is still looking like a solid deck, but maybe now the players are adapting a little more to it, doesn't have that surprise factor anymore. We'll see obviously later on once we go to the final duels remaining, as this was the end of round 6, but we have still 3 more to go. But before we do, we are gonna go on a short break, and we'll be back with the winner of round 6, Khang.